Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Well, now, the NHS may have to axe a number of health services unless it gets more funding. The NHS England board has indicated that urgent and emergency care, general practice, mental health and cancer care would be ring-fenced, but there would be no guarantee that services such as elective surgery or fertility treatment would continue to be available on the NHS. Our health and social care correspondent, Victoria MacDonald, has this report.
Winter has, for the past few years, brought with it emergency department pressures, patients in corridors, long trolley waits, too few staff. But at today's NHS England board meeting, the first since last week's budget, there was a chilly warning of more to come.
Judgment calls that will have to be made about what, amongst the other competing priorities, can realistically be delivered. And our working principle is that we should try and be as stretching but practical about what that would look like, so as not to set unfair or unattainable goals for frontline staff.
In other words, the head of the health service there warning that tough choices will have to be made after the budget produced far less than expected or hoped for. This was the beginning of the process, in effect a throwing down of the gauntlet to ministers here. NHS England saying we can't do everything. Now, they have promised to stand by their commitments to mental health, cancer and primary care, but they warned that something else will have to give, and that could be waiting times, including for elective surgery or even those critical 4-hour waits in A&E. Urgent and emergency care will also be protected within the current funding, but this was an emphatic statement that the health service cannot deliver all that is expected of it. The health secretary avoided the cameras today, but said at a meeting tonight that NHS England must still strive to meet the waiting time targets in its constitution. Pre-budget, the government was told an extra £4 billion was needed. It got 1.6.
Today's board meeting is a clear statement from NHS England about how tough things are in the NHS. They need to be honest about what we can afford to do and what we can't afford to do, and they need to have a proper debate about those issues. So it's the start of the process, but it's a very important statement from them.
Have they overstepped their mark?
They haven't overstepped their mark. They're an independent board. Their job is to be open with politicians, the NHS and the public.
Future funding for approved treatments from the National Institute for Health and Care Excellence, or NICE, will also come under more scrutiny, while the board agreed that homeopathy and herbal remedies should be cut from the NHS prescription list.
We have the ability to work closely with the Department and with the Secretary of State in a cooperative way. But there are always difficult choices, and there will be difficult choices again this year, in which the board must be independent in the advice that it gives to government, whilst committing itself to working closely with them.
Decisions on cuts to services will be put out to public consultation, but it is clear that the next couple of years at least will be hard.
Victoria MacDonald reporting.